Have you ever wondered what triggered the war in Ukraine in 2014? It all began with the Euromaidan protest movement that erupted in late 2013. Thousands of Ukrainians flooded the streets, voicing their desire for closer ties with the European Union. Their hopes were quickly dashed, however, when the Ukrainian government suspended the signing of an association agreement with the European Union. This unexpected decision sparked widespread disappointment and frustration among the populace. In the blink of an eye, peaceful protests turned into scenes of political unrest. This unrest, fueled by the public's disillusionment with their government's actions, gradually escalated. The situation was like a simmering pot that finally boiled over, leading to a full-scale war that shook the very foundation of the nation. This was just the beginning of a conflict that would leave a lasting impact on Ukraine. This spark of conflict set the stage for a tumultuous period in Ukraine's history, altering the country's trajectory forever. How did a political disagreement escalate into a full-scale war? In the early days of 2014, a political storm was brewing in Ukraine. A tug-of-war between the East and the West, between Russia and the European Union. Ukraine found itself in the middle, with its government leaning towards Russia, but its people yearning for the West. Then came a sudden twist. In March, Russia made a bold move, annexing Crimea, a region that was part of Ukraine. This move shocked the world and set the stage for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of Ukraine. As the world watched, tension grew in eastern Ukraine. Pro-Russian separatists began to emerge, staking their claim on the region. They declared independence, creating self-proclaimed republics in Donetsk and Luhansk. The Ukrainian government, however, did not recognize these declarations, leading to an eruption of violence. The situation took a horrifying turn in July. A passenger plane, Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, was shot down over eastern Ukraine. This tragic event claimed the lives of all 298 people on board. The world was appalled. The downing of Flight 17 was a clear indication that this was no longer just a local conflict. Then Russian troops were introduced into eastern Ukraine. This was a significant escalation, marking the transformation of a political disagreement into a full-scale war. The presence of Russian troops intensified the conflict, leading to fierce battles and a significant loss of life. The war was not limited to the battlefield. It permeated every aspect of Ukrainian society, disrupting the economy, causing a humanitarian crisis, and tearing apart families. The world watched in shock as the situation in Ukraine rapidly deteriorated. As we look back, we see a series of events that escalated a political disagreement into a full-scale war. A war that has left indelible scars on Ukraine and its people. Closing. The war escalated quickly, leaving the world in shock and Ukraine in a state of chaos. What were the consequences of this conflict? Let's delve into the aftermath. The conflict in Ukraine, which erupted in 2014, left a profound impact. Thousands of lives were tragically lost, and countless others were displaced from their homes. These individuals faced the daunting task of starting anew, often in unfamiliar territories. The economic toll on Ukraine was staggering. The cost of war, coupled with the need to rebuild, plunged the nation into a financial crisis. The ripple effect of this economic destabilization was felt far and wide, affecting its trade partners as well. Beyond Ukraine's borders, the conflict sparked a series of international sanctions against Russia. These sanctions, imposed by various global powers, aimed to pressure Russia into changing its course of action. Yet the political tension in the region remains. The war in Ukraine was not a local squabble, but a realignment of global power structures. The war in Ukraine was not just a regional conflict, but a global concern that continues to shape international politics. What are the key takeaways from the war in Ukraine in 2014? The conflict that erupted in Ukraine in 2014 was, and continues to be, a complex and multifaceted issue. At its core, it's a story of political tension, social upheaval, and economic hardship. It's a tale of a nation torn apart by differing ideologies, with the struggle for control over Ukraine's political direction leading to a full-blown war. The social implications were monumental. Families were divided, communities shattered, and countless lives were tragically lost. Economically, the war took a heavy toll. Ukraine's economy was brought to its knees, with recovery still a distant goal. Yet, amidst the despair, there's a continuing struggle for peace and stability. Ukrainians are resilient, their spirit unbowed despite the challenges. They continue to yearn for a peaceful, prosperous future. The war in Ukraine serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the profound impact of political decisions on the lives of ordinary people.